Alright, I made it back to the shop with the cab that I went and looked at yesterday. So I'll get it unloaded, show you what I'm thinking, see what you guys think. So, get the tractor, move some stuff around, and then I'll show you what I'm thinking. Alright, here on the F650, I'm going to take note of where this front end is cut off at. Got these 3 little holes in this piece, those 3, it's kind of lobbed off there. There's this piece down here that, I don't know if you can see it, it used to hold the fender liner, and now it has a little brace that comes out here for this fender liner. So I guess that's pretty simple. Let's go over, if you haven't quite caught on to the plan here, the cab that we went up and got off of the hill is going to go on that 650. But so over here, this front end horn is a little bit different, but it does have those 3 holes, and it has these here are the same bracket that hold that brace. So it looks like I'm just going to cut this off. It's going to be kind of tricky because I don't think that this piece is, where the hood hinge and stuff, I don't think this piece is on that 650 at all. I'm going to have to go back and look at that, but probably just going to end up cutting it off right there at that splice. I don't know if you can see it better on this side. Now this cab, it was on an 03 F250 that I built way back in the day, and it was rolled. The cab was about this tall. So the top of this cab and the front end from that splice around back to here, I replaced when I rebuilt the pickup the first time. And then I was bored of it, so I cut it and added the extended cab to it. But you can see in here where I spliced the B pillar here, and then I altered and spliced it there so it's got that good overlap so the welds and stuff aren't all in a line. But unfortunately, this cab being up on the junk hill, not only the mice got into it, but the rabbits got into it. And they chewed up the armrests. So it's gonna have to get cleaned out and power washed, and then it's gonna need pretty much a whole new interior when we actually get around to going full steam ahead on it. I'm gonna go back over and look at that 650 and see how the cowl is and where the wipers and stuff are, and look at these horns again. So I'll do that, and then I'll probably just cut this off without you because it's just really noisy and nothing but annoying stuff that I have to mute and cover up with music anyway when I edit it. So I'll get that cut off, then I'll probably go eat lunch, and then I'll come back in here and show you what I've done. So I'll see you in a minute. Just a little bit of time with the old Sawzall, and the front of this is hacked off. Now there's going to be some differences with this cab and the single cab that's on the 650. There's some mounting points and stuff here in the A-pillar that the 650 has that this doesn't have the nut certs to bolt, like the piece that captures the back of the hood when it closes. So I'll have to drill some holes and TIG weld some nuts in there or something and make them. Now this cab, when I put the 7.3 that was in this cab into my 6.0, the 03 to the 05 difference, I had to put this, I had to change this section of the firewall in the 05 to match the 03 to where the computer and everything would go in it. So that kind of concludes this portion of this project, because I brought this cab off of the hill over there because my dad on his ranch pickup, he ran into a bunch of concrete, took out his front fender in this section of the door, and I think he got his hinges. At least he got the hinge mounts in the door, because this door's like high in the back, so it's definitely got some mounting issues. But I'm going to knock this door down and paint it to match his pickup and put it on his pickup. So I had to bring this cab down to steel that. I didn't have to. It was sitting on the ground and I couldn't get that door open far enough to get all the wire and stuff like that out of it easily. So it was just easier to bring the whole cab down, and then I thought, well, while I got it down, I'll set it on the cab of the F650 so it's not sitting in the dirt. Well, that cab with the 4-door extended cab and the front end on it, it was too long to go from the back of the cab to the front of the duals on the back of this truck. This rear end we just set up here, it's going to go under the 51 Chevy, but this truck has an issue with draining the battery, so it's completely dead again. So I'm gonna have to get that battery charged up, and then I'm gonna have to get a battery disconnect put on it. I'll have to figure out how this lower front fender hooks onto that other cab. This hood, you know, it just goes forward and it's hooked to the frame itself, so I don't have to worry about that, as long as I can get it tied down to where the wind doesn't blow it up or whatever when I do that swap. But the reason I'm going to use that front door off of that other cab on the work pickup, one, it's the right door. I mean, it'll work from an 03 to an 11. I think it'll work. Might have to make a few small modifications, but I think they'd be the same. But I'm going to put these doors on that cab so that I have these big mirrors, because we're going to use this as a tow rig, and I want to be able to see around us, see behind us and everything. So that's kind of where we're sitting on this. That cab will just kind of, I'm just going to move this back axle, and I'm just going to set that cab on the back of this for now, because I had to pull this cab and do all the changes and everything so I can set that cab on here. And one, I don't have time to do it. Two, it's just, I'm not ready to start that whole project. I haven't finished the wrecker yet. Yesterday was my birthday, and I ended up down in Colorado Springs at the Rocky Mountain Drift Championships, and then we went go-kart racing and stuff like that. Had a great time. Just took a little bit of me time, and enjoyed my birthday. So now I'm back home and kind of back on it. I'm gonna get the stuff welded on that wrecker. We'll get this cab set on that frame after I move that rear end, which I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to just about undo this cab so that I can get a hold of that rear end. Or maybe I'll sling something from the bottom of this cab onto the rear end, move the rear end off, set the cab on, and then worry about moving the rear end where I want it. So that's what I'm up to. Guess I'll catch up with you guys when I move back over to the other shop and get that wrecker wrapped up. I won't get it done today because today is Sunday, and I'll have to get a hydraulic hose and whatnot built for it before it'll be done and I can actually like show you guys. But that's where I'm at. Alrighty. I got that rear axle moved and got this cab sitting on its not final resting place, but this is the idea that I've got going. That's a great place for that, because once I get this to where it'll start, I'll be able to just drive it around, and you can kind of, guess you can't from here, but so if you think in reverse and think if this back axle was about where the front axle would be, so at the end of that cab, the end of this black cab, that would be the back axle. That's about how much frame that we'll have to put like a kind of a pulling type flatbed on it, and that's kind of the look we'll have. I probably won't post these videos until, I don't know if I'll post those videos before I start working on that, or if I'll wait and kind of do it as a series. You guys are gonna think all I do is get projects started and don't finish anything, which is kind of how it works. But so Slim's down in Colorado and he's wanting me to send him a picture of this wrecker build. So I'll get him a picture. I had to drill this plate. I had the hole over here 1 inch in, and I didn't like that, so I moved it the same as this other side, 1 5/8 in. The only thing is now I've got to cut a little notch here for one of the emergency brake cable brackets. I'll have to cut that little notch in it so that it'll go up against the frame. So I have to do that before I start welding that together, but it's pretty much kind of where it's at, and I'll have to wire up the lights, get a hose built, put the pump kit on it, pump kits on it, had to put a pump on it, throw the belts back on it, and fill it with oil, and it should be operational. Looking at maybe tomorrow or the next day, depending on how everything else goes and what else I have going and need to do for the wrench and everything. I'll get that notched, and then I cut a bunch of 1 inch solid square stock to space it, because it's about 1.25 inches either side of the frame. So from the frame of the pickup to the frame of the wrecker bed, when I get this bolted on like so, there's 1 inch between the two, 1 inch, 1.25 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'll space these up about 1/8 inch, and I'll weld them on. And that 1/8 inch I can get a good weld. I'll set my welder to the right temp and everything, and I'll get a good weld on there to where I'll just have that 1/8 inch space, rather than, you know, stacking a tower of different plates and stuff to space it out. I'm not going to gain any strength by doing that. I can weld it up to where it'll be plenty strong and make up that 1/4 of an inch once I get these welded on here like that. So this will be on the frame of the pickup. It'll space over frame of the wrecker here. So I'll weld these onto this first, and then I'll just weld this to the wrecker, I think. Or I might weld these to the wrecker first. That way when it's on the wrecker like this, I can run a bead down both sides of that 1 inch. And that way the next person that goes to do anything with this and make it fit something else will hate me. And there's a pretty good chance that that person hating me will be me myself. So that'll be fun in the future. It's hard to get under there with a welder and do that, let alone drag a camera with me and make sure that I don't get a bunch of weld splatter and stuff on it and ruin it. You guys are gonna miss out on that. But I explained it to you, so that's as good as it's gonna get. I'll get that done. Grab Slim a picture of it. I don't really think I'll show anything else on this until I'm moving a car or something with it, because there's just really not a whole lot more to show. I need to get some accessories. I need to get some J-hooks for it because I didn't get any. I need to figure out what I'm gonna do. Somebody helped themselves to this section on this side, and this piece that goes on here that comes out that saddles, makes the saddle for the tire on the wheel lift. That one of those is also missing, so I'll have to build one of those. But I don't think that'll take too long. It's just some square tubing, and if I have to build this piece, that will be a little more work, take a little more time. But for the most part, I mean, it's a chunk of square tubing and maybe another chunk of square tubing. So, and a couple of hooks and a nut and a bolt for adjustment. So won't be a big deal. I'm gonna get on this, weld it all up. I have a set of dually spacers. I don't know where all of the wheels are at. I can probably come up with a couple of them. I can simulate this into a dually. I do have, I believe it's a great big Dana 80 dually rear end out from under it, and 01 1-ton Dodge. But I don't know if the gearing will match the front axle. This front axle is going to come out because it's a high pinion Dana 60 with the knuckles and everything. So that's going to go under a crawler project. It's not going to stay under the wrecker. That's kind of where I'm at with the wrecker, because I might just build another chassis or something. I haven't decided. For right now, I just want it running. I want to be able to move some stuff around with it and get some projects home that are at people's places that I have acquired over the years that I've just never went and never got them home. And I would like to move them home before, lo and behold, they're not mine anymore. So I just want to get it running right now, and I'm not going to worry about anything, and maybe down the line I'll do something different. But for now, it's just, I just need it just to have it. So I'm not too worried about all the finer details. I just need a wrecker. I'll get that done, and probably the next time you see the wrecker, I'll be moving something with it. We'll see you there in the future. All right, so I went ahead and gave this a little bit of a trial run without you, but the first thing that I went ahead and moved with it is that old 51 Chevy grain truck. And as you can imagine, she's not light, but the old wrecker, she just picked her up like there was nothing to it, and we drug it forward so that the back of this box isn't about to hit the mirror on the F650. I only got one belt from Napa. The other one's supposed to be in a couple days, so the pump's only running on one belt, and it still didn't slip or anything. So I think we're in good shape. It took quite a bit more hydraulic fluid than I was planning, so I had to get another 10 gallons of that. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll be an excellent addition around here as far as moving stuff around and not being so jinky as far as like the one-man operations and having to pull stuff up on trailers and everything. I do still have a small fuel leak from that one line back feeding that I'll have to address before I go anywhere with this rig, but happy with it. I'm sure you guys will see plenty of it on future episodes. I do plan on putting the dually adapters on the back. I probably won't run them in the winter because duals in the winter are not the greatest in the snow and the mud and stuff, but I will have to source a set of those rims so that I can put duals on it. Other than that, I'm waiting on a battery to charge on the 650 so I can pull that into the shop. I'm going to do some door swapping and maybe get that ready to pull the cab off of it, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.